It's the New Normal Podcast with Adam Brandt. Hey there, thanks for tuning in to It's the New Normal. I'm your host, Adam, aka the Chubby Snowbird. The last couple weeks, I shared commentary a bit more driven by the news and politics. This week, I want to share my thoughts and feelings about this technology laden world we live in and how it has changed so much in my 45 years. Yeah. I'm not quite a boomer, but I am part of the last year or two of what I would like to think is the greatest generation, Generation X. I gotta tell you, thinking about the future, AI, and all of that, it's a lot scarier the closer we get to it. Probably due to the fact that I've witnessed so much change just in my days. Let's get into it. So, the other day, I'm out for a leisurely bike ride. I've got my favorite tunes playing, the sun is shining, and I'm pedaling a human powered 7-speed beach cruiser, just as fast as I want to go. Looking ahead about 100 yards, give or take, another bicyclist is approaching. This guy's all decked out. He's got his tight pants and shirts. This guy thinks he's in the fucking Tour de France or something. But I guess a lot of these cyclists down here in Southwest Florida think they're professional bicyclists. Anyhow, what caught my eye was the flashing headlight. And it's that flashing little headlight that became the inspiration for today's episode. You see, the first thing that happened after Rad Racer passed me by, going in the opposite direction, I reached down to turn on my headlight. I pressed, squeezed, and tapped. I repeated that process a few times. Nope, nothing. I shouldn't have been too shocked, as I hadn't taken these lights off my bike to charge this whole season. My bad, but I gotta tell you, some kind of rabbit hole developed in my brain. It was 1980 something. Damn you, Adam Goldberg. Anyhow, it was the 80s. I was young, and it was a couple months after Christmas. I was chomping at the bit for spring to arrive, as I had received a brand new bike for Christmas. I couldn't wait to hit the streets and show my parents that I was a natural born cyclist. Screw those training wheels. I would never need them. A bicycle is one of those first vessels that give us a feeling of freedom and discovery. Oh, the distances I could go. I could travel all over on that 1-speed red Huffy. There's something different about being young. In those days, I could pedal forever. I never tired. I never ached. I never had a sore gluteus maximus. We didn't have headlights, nor tail lights. We had reflectors. I never once had to worry about plugging in anything to get from point A to point B. Where we're at today in technology hasn't happened overnight, but the speed at which things have changed has been faster than I would have ever dreamed. Those winters seemed so long as a child. I remember them being a little extra long, as it was the time of year my parents, well, they worried a little bit about finances. I didn't understand a whole lot of it as a youngster, but looking back, I can see the sacrifices my parents made to make sure I had that brand new bike. I get it now. You see, Mom worked in a furniture factory, and my dad was a carpenter. Dead winter in Northwest Ohio, there wasn't a lot of new home construction. So Dad would be on unemployment until the ground thawed and building started back up. Minimum wage back then was basically a Snickers candy bar. I mean, honestly, it was fucking ridiculous. My parents were probably bringing home just over $100 a week. I can't imagine a young couple, 2 kids. How did they make it work? They sacrificed. Looking back, I know that my parents put the needs of my sister and I first, often skipping meals themselves as they barely made ends meet. I got to thinking about the bills they had back then. They had a mobile home, a mortgage, lot rent, a telephone, an electric bill, insurance, and groceries, much like today. But they managed these bills on something like $500 a month take home pay. I'm not proud to say, but I was closing in on that number for one day at Siesta Key Beach last week. You know, cocktails, lunch, dinner, Uber, etc. Boy, have times changed. Their struggle was real, and their hard work paid off in the long run. But my dad's frugality has stuck with him ever since. I often look at those struggles and I wonder if they were the lucky ones. Oh, technology. It's gonna make things easier. Life will be so much better. Everything will be cheaper. It must have been the late 80s. Atari was phasing out. The Nintendo generation had begun. But more importantly, something even more amazing was being touted as the next big thing. The cordless phone, folks. Okay, youngsters. You may not believe this shit, but a long time ago, phones were connected to the wall. And there was this long cord. It wrapped itself around you as you tried to move, as you tried to hold a conversation while preparing dinner. 'Twas the beginning of the end. Dad fought that shit hard.
Oh, it's a waste of money. You can't hear as good on the thing. It's just gonna get lost and it's never gonna be charged up.
All of these are very, very valid points. This guy held out longer than a virgin in an Amish community. But once the price of those phones fell under $100, he finally caved. That tight ass couldn't spend $119. But when that phone finally dropped to $89.99 at Kmart, he had to get it. You know, it was probably just to get us kids to shut the fuck up. Silence, in fact, isn't priceless. It was $89.99 plus tax in 1990. Oh my gosh. That two-tone gray cordless phone. It was magic. You'd think aliens had dropped it off to us peasant humans. How did it work? It was truly the beginning of the "Can you hear me now?" movement. One of us would stand at the wired phone and listen in disbelief as the others would test the limits of this cordless phone. Oh my God. It works in the bathroom. It works in the bedroom. It works upstairs. Holy Toledo. I can hear you from the garage. You think it works by the mailbox? Well, let's see. It didn't. But it worked halfway down the drive. Little did we understand at that time that the moment we unplugged was going to lead to a moment where we're never unplugged. Dad was right. That phone was always lost in my sister's room. It was never charged, and the audio quality was full of static. But gosh darn it, the future had arrived. It couldn't have been a couple years after the magic phone had finally appeared before our eyes that my friends at school were all talking about their new computers. I was familiar with them. I had seen my first computer at school way back in 1987. There were 3 computers locked up in a special room at my grade school. I was lucky enough to be in a program called Horizons. So once a week, I was given a half hour or so to play the Oregon Trail on a beautiful, boxy, beeping green screen. By the early 90s, screens with 16 colors had come out. Games like Dungeons and Dragons and Dune were captivating young folks. I begged and begged Dad for a computer. Daddy, I need a computer.
They're expensive.
And they were crazy expensive. I remember looking through the catalogs. It was like $4,000 for a nice setup.
It's a waste. Nobody needs a computer.
But Dad, I can do my schoolwork on it.
Oh, and then you need an expensive printer. And all of it uses way too much electricity.
The constant begging. Dad finally caved. He bought us a used IBM PC XT. This thing had less computing power than the microphone I'm talking into, but at last, I had a computer to play with. You see, technology was rapidly changing back then, and that first computer was 5 years obsolete when we got the doggone thing. Convincing Dad to upgrade took a whole nother year of begging. Cordless phones, computers, we were the motherfucking Jetsons. Everybody wanted some screen time, or to just hide away in some dark corner talking to friends on the phone. Personally, I took all the screen time I could persuade Mom and Dad to give me. For all the preaching about technology making things better and easier and helping us become smarter, I'm quite certain my studies fell off in conjunction with the more time I spent with the new technology. Gone were the days I'd read a book. I stopped reading my sports magazines. Card and puzzle games? Yeah, I played them, but now on a screen. Dad! Dad! You have to get a modem!
A what?
A modem!
All this talk of cordless phones and wireless this and wireless that. And now you want me to get something to plug the computer into the wall? It don't make no sense.
But Dad, the internet! It uses your phone, and we can connect to computers everywhere.
I don't need you talking to the Russians or the Chinese. I've heard it's just a bunch of grown men talking to little girls.
I must have had CD-ROM discs that AOL sent out, stacked up to the ceiling in my bedroom. Free trial this, free trial that. Dad, it won't cost you anything. I must have used all the free trials I could. AOL, Netscape, Prodigy. Next thing you know, Dad's got another $20 a month bill. But we were connected to the world, and as fast as we connected to the world, we were quickly becoming less connected to our own family in the same house. Chat rooms, games, bulletin boards. Gone were the days of playing Monopoly on the living room floor. Dinners at the table slowly disappeared. We were becoming too busy because of our technology. The internet took the magic of a cordless phone and multiplied that by 1,000. I mean, it was incredible. Who in their right mind wants to pedal to their friend's house or toss around a ball? I mean, I got the fucking internet. For all of the connecting online, the disconnection from reality, from friends, family, was changing everything I had ever known. The older population didn't want anything to do with it. Change is hard. But maybe, just maybe, we should have paid more attention to them. New tech has always presented itself as better, easier, faster, cheaper. It's tricky. Living through all of these advancements in real time, I feel has left me much more skeptical of certain innovations than, let's say, kids a decade or so younger than me. Some of these millennials and younger have known nothing but big tech. What's a Funkin' Wagno encyclopedia? Shit, what's an encyclopedia? Or a dictionary? Or a library? Get used to it. It's the new normal. If you don't keep up with the tech, you're going to get left behind. So after that bike ride I was telling you about, I figured I'd charge up my headlight and taillight. I removed them from the bike, brought them in, and much to my chagrin, I needed 2 mini USB chargers. And the only one I had was charging my speaker. At that moment, I began losing my shit. I looked at my desk and this spaghetti looking mess of wires. I began yanking and pulling to figure out which goes where. I'm falling further down the rabbit hole. But at least I've got a charging cable I can pull myself out of it with. Oh, look, a laptop. I think back to that IBM PC at Mom and Dad's. It was plugged in. No charging. You turn that beast on and off. It flashed, it beeped, it took forever. But guess what? Its battery would never die. Oh, where's this one go? Oh, a speaker, the speaker. Somewhere in a plastic tub, I've got spools of speaker wire. You would plug your speaker into an amp or stereo. And guess what? It just worked. No power, no charging, just music. Talk about magic. Oh, there's my watch. My Samsung Health Watch. It's got that little wireless charging station. Next to it in the drawer, it's my solar power watch. It's never been plugged into anything, and all I have to do is wear it, and it will never die. Sorcery, I tell you. Oh, there's my earbuds. Oh, my wife's earbuds. There was a day when you plugged your headphones into a stereo or Walkman or MP3 player, even your phone. No fucking charging. I look left as I'm tracing a cord. Oops, the dustbuster. At least it's a USB C. Then my blood pressure monitor. It stays plugged in, but I could use it wirelessly. I keep pulling cords. Got one. It's another mini USB. Oh, it's my tiny MP3 player, the one I take to the beach. Oh, next to it's the USB C charging MP3 player, and that's for indoor use. By now, I'm sort of laughing. It's straight up ridiculous. Every damn thing I own needs to be plugged in. The phone is across the room, plugged in on the nightstand. The ringer's off as normal. Might as well be turned off. But honestly, I can't recall the last time I powered my phone off. Next to it rests a charging GoPro. I can only shake my head. We are way overcharged. The shit is too much. And I remember that it all started on an easygoing bike ride. On a non electric bike, thank God. I can't imagine plugging in my bike or wakeboard or scooter or car, for Christ's sake. When is enough enough? Then I remembered filling my bike tires that morning with a rechargeable tiny air compressor. That thing runs on the same battery as my drill, my impact driver, impact wrench, weed whacker, and a few other tools. I went into the bathroom. My razor, trimmer, hair clippers, they're all charging. Massage gun is charging. I've got power strips on every outlet, just hanging there waiting to charge something. All I could do at the moment was chuckle and think back to that two-tone, gray, Panasonic cordless phone. That's what started it all. I didn't have to remember to charge a thing in the 1980s. Even in 1990, charging that cordless phone was as easy as tossing it on its home base. Now, the whole world is a home based charging station. And all these things we use, it used to be plugged in. Until they sold this fallacy that unplugging and losing the cord would lead to unprecedented freedom. We could go anywhere and do anything. About the turn of the century, we all started getting cell phones. We weren't used to this routine of checking battery levels. And even if we were, we still had an excuse when we wanted to be left alone.
Hey, I tried calling you.
Oh shit, sorry. Phone was dead. I must have forgot to charge it. And you know what? It was a totally acceptable excuse. Try that shit today. Is the untethered society better, smarter, less expensive? I don't think so. Take those earbuds. They're pricey, but they're worthless if not charged. Compared to a 30-year-old pair of headphones with a wire, those headphones have never cost another dime since the original purchase. No charger, no cable, no electric. No need to charge it up every night. That's incredible. It just works. Phones the same way. That old phone with the cord, as long as you paid your phone bill, didn't need electric, didn't need a USB, no charging port. It just plugged into that goofy square box down in the baseboard.
Well,
The freedom from wires comes with a cost. It's just the new normal. Yeah, it costs more damn electricity. I thought the goal was to use less power. To save the planet! You know, that toaster in the kitchen only uses power when I plug it in and make some toast. It's never dead. There's no battery to worry about. But can you have toast in the middle of the park? No. But in 45 years on this planet, I've never had the urge for toast at the park. This fallacy of freedom, where we all want to feel unburdened, untethered. The joke is on you, me, and every other fun loving asshole on the planet. That cell phone, it does everything. It's a computer in your pocket. And it's true. This damn phone I own is 1,000,000 times more powerful than that IBM computer from the 80s. It's more powerful than the Polaroid camera I had growing up. It's a better music player than the Walkman from 1987. If it were just that easy. One device to plug in every night that did it all. But it's not. And that's only because it's not the best camera, or the best music player, or the best computer. I mean, keyboards have disappeared since the Blackberry. Remember the Blackberry? Yeah, they're gone. Obama loved them. Obama had to have the Blackberry. It was great. There's always this sense of, I can't use my phone for everything. Well, why is that? Well, what if the battery dies? Then I'm stuck. Then I have no phone, no texter, no camera, no music, no internet. So you buy all this other shit, even though your phone does it all. I guess the joke really is on us. But we're free and untethered. So long the internet bill is paid and that battery's 100%. Going back to that first red Huffy bike, in theory, I could have pedaled anywhere, only stopping for sleep, food, and water. Freedom, man, freedom. Today, I'm free to listen to music until the battery dies. I can tell time and my heart rate and how many calories I've burned until the battery dies. You know, gone are the days where you could hop in your car and take a road trip and don't have to tell anyone where you're going because you don't have to answer your phone. Today, you're only free to travel anonymously until your car answers the phone. Or worse yet, the battery in your car needs charged, and you're not even outside of town. We're shackled by the tech that promised more freedom. We're dumber, lazier, and more fiscally challenged than my poor parents who lived off next to nothing, yet flourished. I'm scared of what's coming next. You know, there's days I'm at the beach, I get to go off grid. Not sitting at my chair, of course, because I've got my phone and my music and my speaker. But when I'm standing out in that water, it's one of the few places I feel free. Like if I had a raft, I could go anywhere, guided by the sun, the moon, the waves. This new normal of needing a whole room to ensure I'm all charged up and wirelessly connected fucking sucks. I can't help but wonder if we'd be better off personally and as a whole if we just listened to the old folks a little better. Well, that's enough for today. I'm going to decompress with some VR video games, so long it's charged up, and I'm going to escape to a faraway place, wearing some headset in my USB charging room. If you've enjoyed this episode, go ahead and subscribe. If you'd like to converse on socials, feel free to hit up Chubby Snowbird on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, X, and YouTube. Thanks for listening. Peace out till next time.